Hi everyone, let's talk about WWE Heatwave, NXT Heatwave, which I thought was an excellent show. So yes, guys, let's talk about WWE NXT Heatwave, which I thought, like I said, an excellent show. So we had Saria defeat Kelly Armstrong and Went Sinclair and won the WWE Women's Speed title and, won the North American Women's title as well, both belts in qualifying match, and two belts on the line, you know what I'm saying? And I thought it was a great match, and I'm happy for Saria being double champion. Really happy for her being double champ. Then we had Grayson Waller defeat Scylla Fatu and Tony D'Angelo and Mike Santana. That was a good match. I thought Scylla was going to win, but I was dead wrong. Happy for Grayson Waller. Love that dude. Happy that he's the NXT champion now. Then Jackson Drake defeated Miles Bourne and became the new NXT Man's North American Champion. And then Jada Parker defeated Natalia in the submission match. And then the Fussity Projects defeated Miles Bourne and Devon Heights to become tag team champions again, once again. And then Kalani Jordan defeated Kendall Gray and became the NXT Women's Champion. So let's talk about it, guys. So let's start off with Sawyer Fitz Winston Clear and Kelly Armstrong, and the winner takes all triple threat qualify for the women's North American title and speed championship. So the bell rings and Winston Clear steps back, leading Armstrong and Sawyer go at it, and Winston Clear gets back into the action just in time to get rolled by up. Sawyer leaning to a fury of very quick near falls. Then Winston Clear kicked Armstrong into Sawyer, who takes her down, and Winston Clear followed with a kick to Sawyer's head. Then Kelly Armstrong fired back and knocked Winston Clear out of the ring, and she clotheslined Sawyer over the ropes and goes for a dive, but Winston Clear grabs her ankle and pulls her outside, and Armstrong fights her off and runs around the ring and takes out Sawyer, and she goes after Winston Clear next, but Winston Clear moves and Kelly Armstrong crashes into the steps back in the ring, and Sawyer dives Winston Clear's head into the turnbuckle, and Winston Clear counters and looks for a submission, but Sawyer powers out, and Winston Clear grabs Sawyer for the Three Amigos, but Kelly Armstrong cut her off before she could hit the third duplex, and Kelly Armstrong charged at Sawyer, but Sawyer catched her and sent her over the ropes, and Sawyer dragged Winston Clear towards the ring post and hanged her up on the second rope, and Kelly Armstrong climbed to the top turnbuckle and had placed a sleeper while Sawyer had her on her shoulder, and Kelly Armstrong escaped, and Winston Clear came in looking for a power bomb, but the Kanik break down, and Winston Clear managed to hit a superplex only to get caught with a spine buster from Kelly Armstrong, and Winston Clear and load with strikes on both opponents, but neither woman stand down long enough for a pin. And Winston Clear climbed to the top and connects with a double crossbody, but again, there's no cover to finish it. Then Sawyer clothesline Winston Clear, then two-plex Armstrong, and she put Sinclair on her shoulders, but Sinclair countered into a sleeper, and Sawyer responded by diving her into Armstrong with a cannonball. Then Winston Clear still hanging onto her back, and all three begin trading strikes, and Winston Clear gets knocked out of the ring after a double headbutt. Then Kelly Armstrong powerbombs Sawyer and covers, but Winston Clear breaks up the pin, and Winston Clear immediately rolls up Armstrong for two. Then Sawyer falls with a double spear. Then Kelly Armstrong hits Winston Clear with the Kelly connection. Then power slams Sawyer. Then Sawyer gets back up, and the two trade strikes to Armstrong is set out of the ring. Then Wen Sinclair grabs Saria and locks in the wrist, and Saria refuses to tap, and then Kelly Armstrong pulls Wen Sinclair out of the ring and power slams her off the floor. Also, again, onto the floor. I'll repeat it again, guys. Kelly Armstrong pulled Wen Sinclair out of the ring and power slammed her onto the floor. Then Kelly Armstrong gets back inside, and walks into a spear from Saria. Then Saria follows with an F5 cover Kelly Armstrong and gets the win, and that's how she won. And that's how Saria won with the F5 and covered Kelly Armstrong for the 3 count. And that's what happened, guys. And that's how she defeated her and went Sinclair and became, you know, qualifying North American champion and speed champion of the women's titles, won both of the women's titles. Like I said again, I know I repeated it 1,000 times, but yeah, like I said again, she won the women's North American title and women's speed title. Now let's talk about this match with Miles Bourne and Devon Heights versus the Fraternity Projects. I thought this was really good. I'll tell you, this match was a great tag team match. I'll tell you, but the aftermath, man, the aftermath with you know Miles Bourne turning heel, really good stuff. I'm telling you, really good stuff. Let's talk about it. So Miles Bourne and Brad Baylor start things off locking up after the bell, and Ricky Smokes tags in, as does Devon Heights, and Devon Heights immediately levels Smokes and scoops him up onto his shoulders, and Bourne tags in, and Devon Heights sends Ricky Smokes crashing down onto Miles Bourne's knee. Then Brad Baylor and Miles Bourne tag back in, with Bourne catching Baylor with a scoop power slam, and Ricky Smokes tagged in and sent Bourne's spine first into the ring apron, and he rolls Miles Bourne back inside, then lands a pair of double knees to Miles Bourne back from the apron, using the top rope for leverage. Then Brad Baylor tags in during the break, and then continues working over Miles Bourne, and Smokes tags back in and adds a series of stomps, and Devon Heights tags in essentially an ankle lock to Brad Baylor, who has tagged back in on his side following the break. Then Smokes grabs Baylor's hand to help him reach the ropes, and allowing Baylor to reach Heights' eye to escape, while Smoke distracts the ref. Then Smokes tags back in and takes out Heights with a chomp block, while Lockwood distracts the ref, the lady that's a part of the Felicity Projects. And then Baylor tags in and stomps Heights into the corner, and Smokes tags back in and connects with a suplex. Then Baylor and Bourne's tag in, and Bourne's took out an interference Smokes also again interference Smokes. Then Miles Bourne hits Baylor with a scoop power slam before the 2-on-1 attack continues. Then Miles Bourne sends Brad Baylor crashing into his knee and covers, but Smokes breaks up the pin, and Smokes clotheslines himself and Devon Heights out of the ring, but Brad Baylor catches Miles Bourne with a roll-up, and Miles Bourne kicks out, but Smokes tags in, and Felicity Projects connect with a drop kick spine buster combination. Then Miles Bourne catches Ricky Smokes with a knee to the side of the head. Then Brad Baylor and Devon Heights tag in, and Felicity Projects hit a double knee strike, and Miles Bourne and Devon Heights answer with a double underhook suplex to Baylor and Smokes. And then Devon Heights looks to make a tag, but Miles Bourne is down onto the outside, and Smokes rolls Heights up, but Heights kicks out and gets caught with a Mirara Miti Rorora, and Baylor tags back in, but Heights hits a double suplex on Baylor and Smokes, and Bourne makes the blind tag, but Baylor catches him with a scoop power slam. Then Baylor holds Miles Bourne in place for Smokes, but Heights takes Smokes out before he can connect, and all four-man and change right hands in middle of the ring. Then Heights catches Smokes with a suplex before clotheslining himself and Smokes over the top rope out of the ring. That leaves Baylor and Bourne alone. Then Miles Bourne sends Brad Baylor crashing into the mat. But Baylor counters by sending Miles Bourne into Devon Heights, and Ricky Smokes tags back in, and Varsity Projects connect with the hit it and quit it on Miles Bourne with Brad Baylor attempting, and Smoke covers Miles Bourne to get the 3 count, and that's how they won. And that's how the Varsity Projects won the tag team titles and defeated Miles Bourne and Devon Heights in becoming the NXT Tag Team Champions once again, guys. I'm telling you, I'm happy for those guys. So after their celebration with Lockwood, Micah Lockwood, you know what I'm saying? Micah Lockwood in exit, and Devon Heights controls Miles Bourne on their way up the ramp and stuff. And Miles Bourne turning heel. I can't wait for his heel run. I hope it's a good heel run for Miles Bourne. Love the dude, really do, man. He's always good. I love his matches, in NXT. I love how the talent are used on NXT more than on Raw and SmackDown. That's why I don't really review it as much anymore, or not do Raw and SmackDown. You know how long ago the last time I did Raw and SmackDown review. But anyways, let's carry on. Then we had Jada Parker, Fitz's Natty in a submission match. I thought this was a good match. A lot of other people thought it was, you know what I'm saying, but I liked it. I didn't care what anybody says. Even this article thinks that it was overbooked, but that's their opinion. I have a different opinion, so. But anyways, let's talk about it. So Natty charges at Jada Parker as soon as she gets off the top, and the two roll around to Natty bails out of the ring, and Jada Parker falls, and they brawl up the entrance ramp, and Natty throws Jada Parker into the ring apron, then sends her through the barricade, and Jada Parker recovers and starts jawing with Nakia Lyons and Carmen Petrovic before getting back into the ring, and Natty takes some time to regroup before joining her, and Jada Parker gets back in some ground and pound, but Natty comes back with strikes, and Jada Parker sends her into the corner and works her over, and the two go back and forth looking for opening to lock in submission holds, and Natty gains the advantage with essentially and Phil and follows with stomps, and then she goes for the sharpshooter, but Parker counters into a crutch, and Natty reverses it and Sicily one of her own, and the two continue trading positions till Jada Parker takes Natty down and steps away at her. Then Carmen Pesagrove gets onto the apron and distracts the ref. Well, Nakia Lyons pulls Jada Parker's hair, and Sicily Low Pearl Del Mal appear at the top of the entrance ramp. The big faction in AAA with Carmen and all those people, really good faction. So Carmen essentially leaves to join them, and leaving Nakia Lyons shocked back in the ring, and Natty sends Jada Parker into the ropes and loads with strikes, and she stomps Jada Parker's knee, but Jada Parker enters with a big right hand, and Jada Parker clubs Natty down and straps her across the second rope before hitting a hip attack. Then Jada Parker locks in a ring of Saturn in the middle of the ring and leaving Natty with nowhere to go, and Natty rolls through the hold and assists one of her own, and then Parker breaks free, and Natty essentially goes for an armbar, and Parker gets her feet lift, and Natty goes for a slam to break the hold, and Parker goes for a scoop slam, but Natty counters into an ankle lock, and then Natty transition from there into the sharpshooter, but Jada Parker managed to drag them towards the ropes, and then they roll out of the ring, and then Nakia Lyons catches her with a super kick onto the floor. Then Thea Hill runs out and chases Nakia Lyons away back in the ring, and Natty tries to take Jada Parker down, but Jada Parker counters and shoves her out of the ring. Then Jada Parker falls and throws Natty back inside the ring, before hitting us again. Natty back inside before hitting a chop block to Natty's knee. I repeat it again, guys. Talking fast. Natty tries to take Parker down, but Parker counters and shoves her out of the ring, and Parker falls and throws Natty back inside before hitting a chip block to Natty's knee. Then Parker locks in the sharpshooter in the middle of the ring, and Natty tries to fight her way out, but Parker sits down on the hold, assisting more pressure, and Natty had no way out and is forced to tap. And that's what happened right there, guys. And it was a good match. I liked it. Don't care what other people have to say. So then we had another match. That was, man, I'm telling you, this match right here was a good match. I'm telling you guys. With this match, with Kendall Gray fences Kalani Jordan for the NXT Women's Championship. I thought this was a good match between those two ladies, going back and forth, back and forth. Really good stuff. I'm telling you guys, like, man. Let's talk about it anyways, guys. Jordan and Gray trade holds and strikes early to Jordan, drop kicks Gray out of the ring, and Jordan follows with a moonsault from the ropes, but Gray answers with an uppercut before throwing her back inside, and Jordan hits an arm drag. I was thinking an arm drag, and the two collide with a double clothesline, and both pop back up with a sense up, and Jordan grabs a headlock, but Gray counters into a head scissors. Thanks for joining. And Jordan reverses into one of her own, but Gray answers with a pair of gut wrench takedowns, and Gray follows with a back elbow in a sense, and Jordan long enough to connect with a drop kick, and Jordan hits a DDT through the ropes, then targets Gray injury ear with a series of elbows, and she keeps control with a face lock, but Gray powers out and starts throwing strikes, and Jordan sends her back to the mat and drops a knee onto Gray's head for a 2 count. Then Jordan falls with a shoulder breaker for another 2 count, and Gray begins to look dazed, and Jordan kicks her in the head and charge, but Gray catches her and throws her over the ropes, and Jordan gets back inside, but Gray catches her with a moonsault for a 2.5 count. Then Gray pulls herself up and chomps Jordan, and they trade strikes to Gray scored several knockdowns and then connects with a suplex, and Gray drops the straps and hits a pair of overhead tossing, and Jordan counters a DDT ascents with a Northern Light suplex and goes right back into the injury ear and hammering it till she tears off Gray's bandage. And well, come in my channel. Yeah, I appreciate you with that. I appreciate that. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate it. And thanks for saying welcome to my channel and on. Yeah. Full support. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And Gray catches Jordan coming off the ropes with a power slam, but it's not enough to keep her down. And Gray goes for shade of Gray, but Jordan counters into a backbreaker, and Jordan head to the top for a 450, but Gray moves, and Gray catches Jordan and rolls her into an ankle lock, and Jordan shoves Gray into the corner, and Gray climbs to the top, and Jordan knocks Gray off the ring post, sending her head first through the announce table, and Jordan throws Gray back into the ring and connects with a slip leg moonsault, and Gray rolls out of the ring and struggles and gets back into her feet, but Jordan follows her outside and bounces her head off the announce table and back inside. Jordan whips Gray into the corner and sends her bouncing off the turnbuckle, and Jordan stands on Gray's head, then drops a knee onto it, and Jordan continues targeting Gray's injury ear with punch after punch, and she pulls Gray up onto the turnbuckle and looks for a superplex, but Gray fights her off and connects with a reverse Spanish fly, and Jordan brings Gray to the apron. Well, Gray tries to suplex her to the floor, and Jordan blocks it, then takes Gray out at the knee, and Jordan falls with a cutter and gets a 2 count, and Jordan connects with a springboard forearm out of the corner. Then she lifts Gray for a powerbomb, but Gray fights out, and Gray responds with a gun wrench into a knee for another 2 count. Then Gray goes for an arm bar, but Jordan breaks free and counters roll a a wheelbarrow. I'll see a wheelbarrow ascends into a suplex, and Gray enters with a German suplex, and Gray grabs the leg and locks and Jordan in an ankle lock into the middle of the ring, and Jordan manages to escape and connects with a super kick, and Jordan climbs to the top and hits a 450, but Gray kicks out at 2. Then Gray catches Jordan with a shade of gray out of nowhere, but Jordan kicks out just before 3. Then Gray immediately goes back to the ankle lock, and Jordan crawls towards the ropes, but Gray pulls her back towards the center, and they roll through the hold till Jordan gets an opening and stumps Gray's injury ear, and Jordan unloads with strikes but misses on a moonsault. Then Gray catches her with a back elbow, but Jordan enters by throwing Gray's head first into the steel ring post, and then Jordan gets back into the ring and quickly hits a moonsault. Then she covers Gray and gets the 3 count, and that's what happened, and that's how Kalani Jordan defeated Kendall Gray and became the new NXT Women's Champion. Now let's talk about other stuff that happened on the show as well. Then we had Naraku spot in which he laughed and he's got beef with Shallow Hill. Okay. I'll be live probably a lot longer. It takes me about a long time, but you never know. It comes around here and there, so forth. Sometimes it goes for an hour, sometimes it goes 30, so sometimes 2 hours, but it is what it is. But I still enjoy talking about my wrestling on here and talking about, stuff that I like. So yeah, then we had the match with Miles Bourne fences Jackson Drake for the North American Championship. This was a good match. I'm telling you, this was good. So this was where the heel turn was, not when that tag team match happened, but yeah, I liked talking about that. I'm sorry, guys. I just love talking about that Miles Bourne, you know, turn heel moment. So yeah, was not during that tag match because I was just so hyped to talk about it, guys. But yeah, but still, it was on part of this show. But it was during after this match for the North American Championship. So Miles Bourne comes into this match already having taken a lot of punishment in the tag match, and Drake assiduously tries to take advantage of that, and Bourne sees it coming and fires back with strikes before clotheslining Drake over the ropes, and Miles Bourne follows him to the floor while Drake kicks his head into the steel steps, and Drake goes for a suplex onto the floor, but Bourne's counters and hits one of his own, and then Devon Heights comes down to the ringside to watch Miles Bourne back as Miles Bourne throws Drake into the ring, and Drake catches him with a drop kick, and the two tumble over the top rope back onto the floor, and both men struggle to get back up, and Drake sends Miles Bourne into the steps, then talks some trash to Devon Heights, and Drake throws Miles Bourne back into the ring and connects with a series of running knees, and he continues to work, and Smoke and Baylor start to early focus on Miles Bourne's back and ribs and try to take whatever leaves out of him, and Miles Bourne catches Jackson Drake with a high drop kick but struggles to get back to his feet, and Jackson Drake gets Miles Bourne onto his shoulder, but Bourne's counters into a DDT, and Bourne still takes a shot to the ribs on the way down, and he follows with a power slam and covers for 2. Then Drake counters Bourne's again and drops Bourne's with a cutter for another 2 count. Then Bourne's rolls to the outside, but Drake dives onto him and throws him back into the ring, and Drake goes for a 450, but Bourne's moves out of the way. Then Drake lands on his feet and essentially hits a gun buster for 2. Then Miles Bourne fires back with another drop kick, then power bombs Drake twice, and then he covers. But Drake kicks out at 2.5. Then Drake climbs to the top, but Miles Bourne catches him with a drop kick and sends him crashing into the floor. And Miles Bourne falls with a dive to the outside, and Miles Bourne throws Jackson Drake back into the ring and takes out Ricky Smokes. But Muller Lockwood catches Miles Bourne with a power slam onto the floor, and Devon Heights takes care of Smoke and Baylor at ringside. But Drake gets Miles Bourne back into the ring, and Drake climbs to the top and connects with a 450, and he covers Miles Bourne and gets the 3 count. And that's what happened right there. And Jackson Drake became the new North American champion. Happy for the dude. Jackson Drake, loved all the work that he did in, Involve a while back, and all that good stuff. This show was excellent. I loved it. I loved the whole show. That's my thoughts. I'll give you a rating here after we talk about the main event that comes after this. So, yeah, then Devon Heights is in the ring to control and ensure Miles Bourne, but ends up taking a cutter as we get a heel turn, but not from who most of us thought it would get one from. But I didn't know that Miles Bourne was going to do that either. In my opinion, I just thought that Jackson Drake was going to win. In my picks, you can go back and watch them. I got some of them right, some of them wrong, but yeah. Now let's talk about this main event, guys. I thought this main event was a great main event, a really good action from all these 4 guys. Love Mike Santana. I don't call him Cruz Montana. If you want to call him Cruz Montana, you can call him Cruz Montana. I thought he did great. I thought Tony D'Angelo did great in the match too. Silla fought too as well, which I thought Silla was going to win. But anyways, let's carry on. The bell rings, and Tony D'Angelo immediately fires off right hands on Mike Santana, and Mike Santana takes out everyone else at ringside with a top con holo over the top rope. Then Silla and Tony D'Angelo continue brawling, with Silla unloading with right hands on Tony D'Angelo at the bottom of the entrance ramp. Back inside the ring, Santana hits Waller with the 3 amigos as Silla stands take over, and D'Angelo at ringside, and Santana rolls up Waller, but Waller kicks out, and Santana falls with a backbreaker roll. Silla and D'Angelo continue following. I'll say it again. Silla and D'Angelo continue fighting onto the floor, and Waller enters with an uppercut and gets Santana up on his shoulders, and Montana escapes with an elbow to the side of Waller's jaw, then plants him with a Death Valley driver. Then Grayson Waller sends Montana, Santana, Mike Santana crashing into the corner and coming back from the break and fires back. And then elbow before connects with a net breaker and he covers, but Santana kicks out. Then Santana sends D'Angelo crashing over the apron, but Silla levels Waller, but Tony D'Angelo falls with a Death Valley driver on Grayson Waller, only for Silla fought to the takeout Tony D'Angelo and stare down Mike Santana. Mike Santana fires off chomps on Silla before sending him spine first into the opposite corner, and Mike Santana falls with a pair of chomps, and Tony D'Angelo tells us again, I make mistakes a lot, but talk too fast. Then Tony D'Angelo takes Silla. Tony D'Angelo takes Silla down with a clothesline, then sends Grayson Waller crashing face first and spine first into the ring apron, and Tony D'Angelo connects with a belly-to-belly suplex on Silla, then hits another on Mike Santana, sending him crashing into the bottom turnbuckle. Then Tony D'Angelo sends Grayson Waller into the ring steps and connects with a suplex on Silla. Then Tony D'Angelo races under the ring and pulls out a table, but Grayson Waller catches underneath the ring, and Tony D'Angelo hits a suplex on Grayson Waller and covers, but Grayson Waller kicks out. Then Mike Santana climbs to the top rope with Grayson Waller joining him, and Silla and Tony D'Angelo get Grayson Waller into a double electric chair position, and Mike Santana connects with a blockbuster off the top rope, and Santana sends Scylla shoulder first into the ring, and Post falls with a cannonball and a cover, but Tony D'Angelo breaks up the pin, and Scylla covers Tony D'Angelo, but Grayson Waller pulls the ref out of the ring to stop the count. Then Scylla clears off the announce desk and gets Grayson Waller onto his shoulders, and Grayson Waller risks Scylla's eye to escape and sends him crashing into the ring post. Then Tony D'Angelo spears Scylla Fatu, but Mike Santana lays Scylla Fatu across the announce desk, and Tony D'Angelo catches Mike Santana with a right hand and climbs to the top rope with him, and the two take each other out and crush to the floor. Then Grayson Waller sends Scylla Fatu still laying on the announce desk and climbs to the top rope, and Grayson Waller connects with the elbow drop and sending Scylla Fatu crashing through the announce table, then leaves Tony D'Angelo and Mike Santana alone in the ring, and they stare each other down, beginning to trade right hands. Then Tony D'Angelo takes Mike Santana down with a German suplex, but Mike Santana quickly recovers and sets up for a spin the block, and then Tony D'Angelo interrupts him with a spear. Then Mike Santana still managed to hit the spin the block on Tony D'Angelo. Then Grayson Waller swoops and steals the pin from Tony D'Angelo and covers him for the 3 count. And that's what happened. And that's how Grayson Waller defeated Tony D'Angelo and took him and covered him 1, 2, 3 and stilled the pin, from Mike Santana. Mike Santana was going to get it, but then Grayson Waller scooped and stilled the pin, and that's how he won, and that's how Grayson Waller became the new NXT champion. So yes, guys, I gave this show a 10 out of 10. A 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I know people are going to say, "Oh, you're biased, you're this, you're that, and the other," but that's my opinion, and I gave the show a 10 out of 10. It was just an excellent show. I loved it. I loved every moment of it, guys. But the all-in one it broke the scale for me. That's another story. That one was more better than this. Heatwave. That's just my opinion. I love both shows. I thought both shows were excellent, but All In was super. So, anyways, guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And this is CJD 2006. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always. And this is CJD 2006. Peace out and take care and much love. Peace out and take care and much love.